Now that I have received my Criterion A assessment, what's next? As part of the IB International Baccalaureate curriculum, we're compassionate lifelong learners who obtain unique learning styles that communicate our values, knowledge, and experience of the world. Throughout our learning process, we demonstrate our global context by appreciating human ingenuity, taking action in our community, considering our environment, as well as having 5 approaches to learning, where we research and demonstrate knowledge, collaborate and exchange thoughts, think creatively and critically, interact and express messages, and organize, manage our time. Within this project, I'll be interpreting given data in addition to interacting with media to create ideas and information, as well as evaluating ideas, analyzing the incorrect math concepts, and investigate the appropriate solutions. My initial question involves the factorization of an expression using the method the difference of squares. As our first step, we should identify the greatest common factor that is able to divide evenly between 4x and 36x cubed. Therefore, the common factor between these terms would be 4x. For the second step, we are needed to put the greatest common factor as the first term, 4x, and in the parentheses we divide each term by the greatest common factor. The equation 1 minus 9x squared fits in the form a squared minus b squared. Therefore, rewrite it where a equals 1 and b equals 3x. Using the method difference of squares, rewrite the equation in the form a squared minus b squared, where parenthesis a plus b, close parenthesis, open parenthesis a minus b. Therefore, the factorized form of this expression would be 4x 1 plus 3x multiplied by 1 minus 3x. This following question involves the math concept of problem solving, where I was needed to convert individual expressions into simultaneous equations. To complete the second math concept by using the method of substitution to solve for a and b. Although I solved this problem using trial and error method, the appropriate method would be shown as per the following. Since this is considered as an equilateral triangle, it indicates that all sides are equal. Therefore, the given equations could be written in the form b plus 2 equals a plus 4 and b plus 2 equals 4a minus b. This is another form of representation that indicates that these equations are equal. By situating the given equations in this form, we're able to simplify these equations as per the following. After the simplification of equations, we're able to perceive them as simultaneous equations. Using the elimination method, we have the ability to identify the terms a and b. To solve these simultaneous equations, we make the coefficients of one of the variables the same value in both equations. Thus, to complete this, we multiply the equation b minus a equals 2 by 2. Next, subtract the equations as per the following. Substitute the value a equals 3 into equation b minus a equals 2 to identify the value of b. In conclusion, the two terms a and b are equivalent to a equals 3 and b equals 5. To review our answer, we're able to substitute these values into the given equations, the length of the triangle, to evaluate if they're equivalent. The math concept which was demonstrated in this problem would be the constructing of a quadratic equation using any 2 points or coordinates. Referring to the graph, we are able to identify 2 points. The parabola begins to turn at the coordinate -1, -3 being its vertex. Another additional point that could be perceived would be the parabola's y-intercept that occurs at 0, -2. When creating a quadratic equation, I'm required to decide on the form which will be formulated, as per the given points. The first form, being referred to as the vertex form, shown as a bracket x minus h squared plus k, is used when given the vertex and at least one point existing within the parabola. However, the second form, being referred to as the general form, since I was able to identify the vertex of the parabola, I will formulate the quadratic equation in the vertex form. Substitute the terms h and k in the vertex form a bracket x minus h squared plus k with the given vertex minus 1 minus 3. Next, we are able to use the given y-intercept 0 minus 2 as an xy coordinate, where x equals 0 and y equals minus 2. This could be substituted as per the following. Rearrange the equation to solve for a. For the following question, I'm required to apply my problem-solving skills and previous skills, including area and perimeter of a shape, and construct this in one equation, so that I am able to solve for the dimensions of a fence with 3 sides, where the 4th side facing the road is left open. Initially, we formulate an equation that solves for area and perimeter. Area equals 240. This could be rewritten to length times width equals 240. Since we're only aware of the perimeter for 3 sides, this could be equivalent to 2L plus W equals 52. Then we are able to rearrange for width. By applying the substitution method for the formula length times width equals 240, insert the formula for the width W equals 52 minus 2L. Move all terms to one side of the equation to be equivalent to 0. This creates a quadratic equation. Multiply the quadratic equation by -1 to convert the negative term, minus 2, to a positive term. Factorize the expression 2L squared minus 52L plus 240 by 2 to remove the coefficient a in expression ax squared plus bx plus c. To be able to find the roots, we need to factorize the quadratic equation, where the product of two terms should be equivalent to 120 and should be a sum of minus 26. Next, we find the roots by applying the factorization method and using the two terms minus 6 and minus 20. With the given results, the two lengths are equivalent to L equals 6 and L equals 20. Substitute the given terms into W equals 52 minus 2L to discover the width when L equals 6 and when L equals 20. Before being able to evaluate my new score, if I was able to solve the mistakes caused by lack of focus, the Muppet mistakes, within my exam, I need to identify the source of fault for each question. So initially, question 5C was a Muppet mistake, whereas question 10, I needed more revision as I have forgotten the method to complete it. However, it is still considered a mistake from lack of focus. And finally, question 6 and 14 are incomplete due to time pressure. As per my calculations, one question in the exam is equivalent to 4.8%, thus the overall percentage of my correct responses would be 72%, whereas the overall percentage of my minor or Muppet mistakes would be 9.6%. And finally, the remaining 4 incorrect questions that were partially right and were incomplete due to time pressure would be equal to 9.6%. However, if I was able to review my answers appropriately, perceiving the questions thoroughly, and concentrating at an appropriate level, my percentage of correct answers would be modified to 82%. By using an online resource to investigate the diverse aspects of approaches to learning, I used an article referred to as MYP from Principles into Practices. It requires an ending of .org in its URL, being a non-profit organization, correlating with the fact that its author would be the International Baccalaureate Organization, which seems to be a reliable source by displaying given details. Its language is professional, using IB terminology including MYP, DP, and ATL skills, in addition to providing several examples and explanations. Overall, I believe it is a qualified website, thus I'll assign it with the score 8/8. For future exams, I have the goal in managing my time, practicing a variety of questions, and most importantly, review.